Hello everybody and welcome to this year's Jelly Jam 2022, the third in our series of Jelly Jams, and an exciting event to behold. Getting things kicked off in just a few minutes, so please stand by while I finish up getting a couple of tech things figured out. Look forward to an exciting race regardless. We'll be checking back in a moment. All right. So we are currently live on RPG Limit Break. We're getting ready for the exciting Jelly Jam 2022. If you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer anything before we get everything started off.
All right.
On time.
I'm good.
Oh, hi, DC.
Hey.
All right, then I'm going to give a
Those are
5
the
count
views.
before we officially get started. And as a reminder, there is a 2-hour time limit for today's event. If you need any updates, I will send a message to you guys letting you know when timers are running a bit low. You can, of course, run your own timers to keep track of time, but I'll do my best to inform you guys as things go.
I already have my screens way too full, so my own timer will definitely take less space than having Discord as well open.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Are we allowed to input names before you do the countdown?
Yes, of course you can input names.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna do
will
that.
point out that your tracker link does not currently point to the current scorecard, but just to the gem tracker in general.
I'm updating that now. I was waiting on you to get that link from me earlier. Command has been updated.
Yeah.
Nice.
Alright, and lastly, I just need to make sure I got some audio
Actually, I
coming
would
through.
have one small question right now as well.
Oh, yes?
Any plans for like little commentary, little talk, TED talk round after the or
Certainly,
round
anyone who
one
would like to
is-
stick around and participate in commentary or conversation afterwards can absolutely feel free to stick around.
Just wanted to ask us if you want us to, then I'd of course take the time. But as I just said, yeah, time is of the essence today.
I didn't
Gotcha.
realize I was late. I thought it was 10 a.m.
No
It
problem.
is all
There was a
fine.
time zone issue on my side with getting everything started up today, which made things a bit inconvenient. I apologize again for that.
Gotcha. I would have been earlier had I known. My bad, y'all.
Right. But Mitchie really doesn't want to do commentary, so you can probably like kick him out if you want to. He's just there because I told him that he can't leave you alone with it.
Yeah, you can just throw me in there. I'm fine. I can do commentary all day.
Okay. Well, it sounds like we have Decker BRD still on board for commentary, and DC Boy, I believe, will be hopping in, so I should be able to get him in, and Mitchie can relieve himself of this at this point. So that said, I'm going to get things prepared for a 5 count here. Once I hit go, the timer will begin. I'll drag you guys into your own voice channels, and everything will kick off as it should.
Right, and then we start running the moment that reaches 1. Okay.
Correct. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun. Here we go.
Okay, gents, welcome to Jelly Jam 2020. It's
Heck yeah.
exciting start right now. This has been our 3rd year in the running, and I don't know if you guys have kept up with the evolution of points. But things are definitely changed this time of year. There's a lot more points this time around than there were last time.
Oh heck yeah, lots of. I like the solo and team floor goals. That is a very great idea, and we're gonna see our runners on the teams here coordinating between one another, which is a fantastic.
So I notice a lot of people are taking in Lexus this time. Lexus is sort of a center point of this year's particular event, and it's exciting to see quite a few points structured around him, or taking advantage of the fact that he has accessible options to get a lot of the points, whereas others may not. For instance, the Koma Hit and Fugoru weapon are going to be very effective in scoring a couple of points that involve killing multiple enemies with a single hit, or otherwise the only other person who could do that is Artie with the launcher. It'd be interesting to see what people get in this first 15 or so floors, because they may be able to score some early points, just depending on having some good weapon luck. I guess I'll introduce everyone this here. We've got Decker BRD, a former runner and a glitched out member of a previous Jelly Jam race, sitting in commentary today. He's known for being a pretty good runner, all things considered, even though he did get himself handed a little bit of bad luck. We've also got Michi on board, who is a participant in this year's event, although he'll be participating in the next round, which will be going on
me.
next Saturday.
That's this
And
voice.
we also have PC Boy, who used to be pretty active in the community, but has taken a little bit of a step back. He seems to be involved for this event, which is pretty exciting. And I'm curious, with 3 very different points of view, how thoughts are going to be as far as the point structures and everything go.
Pretty good. That's it. That's the best adjective you could come up with. Pretty good.
So we should quickly go over the rules. So if anyone wants to keep track along, here are the 2 links that you want to take a look at. So basically, long story short, there's a 2-hour time limit, as you can see on the screen, and they try to get as many points as possible. So on the top half, you could say that there are mostly party goals and general goals. Some of the goals they need to both achieve, for example, bring Lexus and do not remove him from your party. So both people or both players on the team need to choose Lexus. And then on the bottom half, you see goals that you can only get between like floors. So for example, if a 4-1 capsule monster defeat an enemy, you can only get those points between floor 1 and 10. So we will go over more of those when they show up. But we see a Blaze capsule monster with RealCritical, which is a solid pickup. Because you will get the points in the party goals on top, so bring Yells of Flash, Blaze, or Gusto, and he actually likes to attack somewhat reliably, so it was easy to get those early objectives between floor 1 and 10.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
absolutely. I gotta say that the point structuring and the point goals of this year's Jelly Jam is extremely engaging the entire way through. There isn't a set of floors where our teams won't be trying to achieve some particular goal, so you will see a lot of coordination between the team members to set the solo floor and team floor goals along the way.
Yeah, and they have to adjust on the fly, right? Because every floor is randomly generated, so nobody knows what's going to happen, or they shouldn't anyway. So, for example, if they had a rough couple of early floors, and they might be thinking, "Hey, I'm not doing that well on health items, or I don't really have a good offensive spell, or lost some time here and there," they might actually decide to skip a few goals. And if your opponent decides to, actually go for those goals, then you might see some different strategies here. RocketP4nts is doing well. They are getting 2 cores. They can kill it, but they don't have spells, it seems.
Oh,
They killed the
tail
first one.
too. That tail was a last-ditch effort.
They didn't kill the second one. That's a shame. Still, 1 core is really good. It usually bumps you up all the way to level 9, if I'm not mistaken, which is a very, very solid start of your run. You can continue quite some floors around level 9, 10, 11. Especially Decker gets extremely tanky by that point for those floors. So that's good to see.
Yeah, and for anyone completely new and unfamiliar with play mode. This is essentially a 99 floor randomized dungeon where you collect gear and gain experience on your way down to survive and eventually make it to the final boss, where you have to deal about 10,000 damage in 3 turns to finish and win the cave. So you will see our players and our participants here having to navigate increasingly dangerous enemy sprites, and you'll see that every time the players are moving, the enemies are also moving. So a very big part of this game, a high mastery strategy, is to understand what sprites' movement patterns are in response to your own and being able to sort of navigate them properly. You'll see our participants engaging enemies from the side or from behind of the sprite if they can, to increase their chances of getting surprise attacks. You'll see them avoiding the sprites touching their back and their side, as it goes the same way for the enemies. So this entire process is going to be very engaging, as every sprite must be managed in a room. It's going to get a lot more dangerous later, but on these early floors there are a few tricky enemies that can bar the way. But because we have so many unique point incentives for these early floors, a lot of our players are going to be engaging in a lot more fights, a lot more grabbing of red chests early. So you will see a lot more activity in every series of floors, rather than just trying to hightail it to the bottom as fast as possible.
Yeah, so we from chat, I'm also reading along with the chat. Chat will make some call-outs for good items they got, or tricky situations or whatever. I believe RocketP4nts just picked up an iris spot. So basically, there are 3 types of items in the game. So you have those red chests, and you also have blue chests. So the red chest has 1 set of items you can get, basically. That will items will be added, and items will be left out the further you get into the cave. And there's also a blue chest, and that will always have 1 specific set of items. But the main difference between the 2 is that blue chest items are generally very, well, I won't say strong, but generally they are worth a lot in the main game. So we're basically playing a mini quest or side quest right now. But so an iris spot is different. It does show up in a red chest, but it's 1 of 9 very rare items. And one of the incentives is to get how many of them?
It is 5.
5 of them
between the
Good
2
crap.
party members.
So it is difficult, but it should definitely be possible.
And you can see in chat here we have some people talking about the Berserk Blade. So there are a few items in this cave that are cursed items, and once they are equipped, they cannot be taken off unless you find a rare item called a Curse Lifter. Now, the Berserk Blade is one of these cursed items, and one of the terrible natures that comes with it is that it has such a high attack power that if one of our players used the strongest equip function, it could slap it onto one of the characters that they're using and essentially nullify them to equipping better weapons. And it's noted there that it also makes good food for our wonderful little capsule buddies that you see as the 5th character in these battle scenes. These are the capsule monsters. A lot of, I think everybody has basically chosen to use Blaze as far as I can see. And they all basically align with different elements represented in the game. You can feed them items and equipment and raise their forms, kind of like Pokemon. You evolve them into better versions of themselves, and they level up along with you. The Berserk Blade, you run the risk of potentially accidentally equipping it. So some people prefer to drop it. That is what we saw Rocket do in the top right there. There's also an incentive this year in the points to feed a capsule monster from Form 1, no feeding, to Form 4 within the final 10 floors. And so feeding it early on may not be an option for these players if they're going for that point incentive. So that may have had something to do with their decision.
Yeah. So there's a question in chat. Really good question. So why are they passing up some chests? Well, one of the reasons for that is because they might already have everything that they need. But also a really important reason that you might not immediately think of. So because you're running with a set time, if you pick up a chest, it gets you stuck in this animation, found item for about 4 seconds. Plus the time it takes to actually walk over to a chest. So what you will see a lot today is why they don't fully explore a floor, or whenever they see a chest or there's a monster next to it, they might pass up on the chest, or simply because they just don't need it. I mean, if you have a few good spells, like offensive spells, you got plenty of healing items or healing spells, and you got a couple of good weapons, they might just pass up on a bunch of these chests. It just saves a lot of time. And manipulating the movement of certain monsters is also a big, it could be a big time loss or a big time save. So some monsters you would really not like to fight. For example, on a RealCritical screen, he is on the floor with bees, and bees are extremely dangerous. But the ones that RocketP4nts is fighting right now, those monsters actually have a couple of incentives to them.
Yes, this torrent right here is a part of that incentive. There are a few enemies in the cave that summon other foes for you to fight. And the incentive for this set of floors is to encounter this green clay, have them summon a torrent, which is that tree you see, and kill that torrent with a fire attack or spell, which Rocket was able to achieve thanks to the fireball spell that they were able to pick up earlier. Sadly, their blaze ran away. Ooh, and we see a nice Valk for RC there. One major thing to note as we're going through is that there are different item pool additions as you progress through the cave. So there are a few sort of checkpoints where new important items will be added to the item pool. Mostly you start seeing some of the more important items such as the Decker Blade, kind of one of the main tools of defeating the jelly at the end of this cave that can only be equipped by the character Decker. That starts appearing at floor 15. And as you progress through, there are multiple checkpoints like that where new items enter into the pool, and most of them are very important and very unique and able to achieve that ending goal of defeating the jelly. But for now, we are in the 20s. We are trying to achieve some of these team goals, and eventually we're going to start seeing some assassins showing up, and those also have some goals tied to them.
So, one thing we didn't mention, and something we commentators and speedrunners in general often forget, is when you look at a battle screen, you see 3 bars. So one is the HP bar, the other is the MP bar, and then you got an IP bar. So the HP bar, you know, is your hit points. It's how much health you have. If you go to 0, you die. Makes sense, right? Then you got the MP bar. So everybody except Decker and Guy has some form of magic. Where only Artie is different because he also has some spells that only he can learn. So you know, just your general offensive healing, status magic. And the IP bar is interesting because it's somewhat unique to this game. If you really want to compare it to any other game, you could say that it's close to Final Fantasy VII's Limit Break, where if you take damage, that bar will fill up. So most weapons, most armors, rings, jewels, etc., they have a specific ability to them. So, for example, a weapon could deal double the damage, but it will take half of the IP bar to activate it. So they are looking for specific weapons that will that will get them through the entire cave, but will also help them to fight the final boss at floor 99. So it's there are a couple couple major ones that they will keep an eye out for. The Decker blade that we mentioned earlier, which is a weapon that only Decker can use, and that's also the main reason why everybody brings Decker. Besides that, you know, he's just straight up the strongest guy, the most health, the most attack power, etc. Other weapons to look for are deadly weapons. Because they will give you an 80% chance to instantly kill a monster. And I believe RocketP4nts has a fatal pick, which isn't...
I think, and there's possibly a fake deadly over on RC, but I think Hob, Dom, and Rocket all have fatal picks. I have not seen any true deadlies, though.
Yeah, so fatal picks will give you that instant death, but there's an item called Curse Lifter, which will remove the curse from the weapon, which they really want to look for. But the Deadly Rod will be the one that will actually give you a new ability, where the fatal pick won't. So that's the main reason why they will, you know, not equip the fatal pick just yet. At the moment where Rocket equipped one.
Yep. And one of the big things to note about Curse Lifter items is that usually the instant death abilities are tied to them only when they are cursed. And once you we have the first RC wipe of the day. Expect at least 3 more. And he will not see the bottom of the cave, as is in his character. So he's
he didn't
playing
wipe?
it perfectly. Oh, he didn't wipe. He must have providenced out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't looking. I was just like, I saw him get to the top of the cave again. And I'm like, oh boy, there's our first one.
Oh yeah, he had to fight 2 tentacles. Yeah, okay. So these monsters are they are way too overpowered for the point where they're at right now, and they are extremely deadly. So I didn't look at the screen at the time, but I imagine that he thought that he couldn't survive, and he would rather Providence out, which basically means go back to floor 1, but get that point. You know, in a normal speed run, just get to the boss as quickly as possible and kill the boss run. You would never use Providence, but in a tournament setting like this, where you have 2 hours to get as many points as possible, it's definitely a valid strategy. Yeah, and especially if we didn't have, you know, any good stuff or being under-leveled, yeah, I don't blame him.
Yeah, if anything here is remotely intriguing to you, Strongly suggest you to check out speedrun.com if you want to check out any of the top runs to see what a standard any percent run looks like and how fast-paced it can be. It's really all about avoiding the baddies that you don't want to see, what you need. But as you can see, when we do these types of events, we get to display a lot more of what the cave has to offer to a casual player. But we get to approach it in a different way by knowing so many intricate details about these enemies and about these floors. So we have our wonderful incentives to push our players to challenging moments on these floors. What I will
Sounds
say...
like-
Oh, go ahead.
Go for it. I was gonna make a joke. Corpse SR said, I will be so terrible at this. I see a chest, I open chest, I see something moving, I attack it. You will be a great runner for 100%. So if you ever have 5-6 hours of time, you know, just play 100%. Enter the cave, kill everything that you can, open every chest that you can. It's good fun.
I'm pretty sure 100% was how casuals played this back in the day. So
yeah,
that's kind of
essentially, I imagine.
That's kind of the standard way to play the cave. Open everything, fight everything, get levels. Definitely making that fast is a challenge because it comes down to getting lucky on how many enemy sprites decide to spawn on a floor and what kinds.
It's fun when you go back to like these really old websites from like somewhere in the early 2000s or whatever, or on the game
GeoCities.
FAQs or whatever, and you read these strategies of these people. Like you need to pick up an X amount of blue chest items, otherwise you won't make it to the end. And you know, every time you pick up a blue chest item, you should use Providence to get out. And you can only do it when you have these items. And then 20 years later, we're doing this, which is amazing.
Yeah, I think we've gotten it so tight now that there's probably about 3 or 4 items that you technically only need and to make it to the bottom safely and to be able to perform the jelly kill. So there's been a lot of knowledge and strategy applied to this ancient cave game, and it really it breathes new life into it. Every year, every other month that something new is found or some new strategy is brought up. We have experienced players that literally run the game with only 3 characters and try their best to go as fast as possible just using 3. So you can imagine that if 3 characters can do it, why couldn't 4, you know?
Yeah, a question in chat, was the timer negative? Because they have 2 hours to get as many points as possible. And if you look the link, the exclamation mark tracker, if you click that link, you can see all the objectives that they want to finish before the 2-hour mark. And the team with the most points will be the winner of this round. And there is also a rules. Let me quickly check up on that one. But I believe the player that killed the jelly the first will be, if there was a tie, that player will, or that team will win, if I'm not mistaken. Probably something like that. You guys will find it before I do. So back to the run. HabKeineName, if I pronounce that correctly in German. I'm not German, so I usually call him No Name because that's really what his name means. Have no name. He is level 14, entering 424, and an Irish Jewel. So that's,
yeah.
I think that's 2 Irish items for him now. Yep. That's impressive. We might just switch it over to an Iris percent run in a moment. But he is
one of the many who loves to press their luck on Iris percent. Don't look it up.
I don't know who else does that. That's a long time ago. But yeah, so far they are neck and neck. But No Name looks pretty decent with his levels and points that he has collected so far. RocketP4nts is looking really decent with levels, but needs to fight some dangerous enemies now. They are called assassins. They are definitely not assassins. It's something totally different. But these enemies are quite a pain. Well, Rocket has a deadly equipped, so.
Yep. One of the fantastic things about this is the translation team that worked on it. Really, they botched, quote unquote, some of these translations, but we embrace that. We love that. That is a part of the cave. These are canon names. These are not assassins. These are assassins.
That's the 80% hitting again, as we can clearly see.
Yeah. So have we talked about the percentages of deadlies? So deadly instant kill attacks are coded to have an 80% chance to hit, which means that it's a 50-50% chance to hit or not. Because most of the time you'll see 3 misses in a row, and you stop and think, wow, 80%. 3 times in a row you hit that 20%. So you will let's count the misses whenever you see those deadly users swinging.
An apron, but RocketP4nts didn't bring Tia or Selen. That must hurt.
Yep, that was one of our incentives this year. Equip a female with an apron, engage a battle, win that battle while equipping an apron.
That must hurt. Tia, so we could talk a little bit about the different characters, I guess.
Wife,
yeah. So Decker is the really strong, physical character. He ton of health, very strong. Maxim is a little bit of a jack of all trades, but you must take him. He is the main character. You can't leave him behind. And then most people go for Ahri, and I think everybody in this tournament will, as they should. So Ahri is the fastest character in the game, and he has some access to some strong holy type spells or light type spells or whatever it's called in this game. So he's very good, very good spellcaster, and he's really fast. And because he's so fast, we like to equip him with a deadly weapon. But then you have a guy. Well, nobody's gonna take him probably. And then you have Tia, Selen, and Lexis. And if you want to go over these 3 characters, I want to hear your hot takes.
Sure. So between these 3, we essentially have the magic users of this game. They're all sort of on the weaker physical side and more in the aspect of magic. But what you have between the 3 is that Selen is more balanced, kind of like Maxim. She kind of dances the line between physical and magical, leaning more towards magical, whereas Lexis is heavily weighted towards the magical side. He's very weak heat as a sort of wide enemy attacker and some unique IP skills that come along with those. But for the most part, he is a small bottle of glass that shoots lightning out of it. He's very much going to be the person who dies. But then you come to Tia. Tia is the more magically natured character. She's faster technically than both. It takes her a little bit to overtake Selen not very much once levels come in. I believe it's like, is it level 9 or 12 or something where she eventually overtakes Selen?
I don't know. It's early enough, yeah.
Yeah, but so T is basically the faster version of the magic users of those three. So you kind of have these three characters, and they all have different magical prowess with some negatives and positives.
Oh no.
Based on who they on who you take. Oh yeah, we have a
Oh,
super dangerous
no.
encounter for No Name. These evil fish can easily. Oh, he's got
They
a
can-
fast arty though.
They can. Oh, he went for. Does it kill them? And
Nope,
fourth
he
time?
should've went
No,
for a
it shouldn't.
single. Ooh,
Ooh.
confuses and 8-leggers. This
Oh, this is
the
looking bad.
confused Decker is going to be pretty troubling right here because he will not be able to potentially run away here. Yep, this is going to be, that's going to be our first official wipe. No Name will have an opportunity to just run right back into the cave and keep going. With an hour and 27 minutes, there's still a lot they can get done. And a lot of incentives that they can still meet. So they are definitely not out of this game.
Yeah, so a monster that appears relatively early that can attack your entire team, basically two-shots most of your more squishier team members, and it can confuse you. They're not good.
Yeah, Radix, that is how I feel. Some people do not feel the same. Personally, I run an any percent team of Maxim, Decker, Artie, and Tia because I love the blue hair and I love the speed. So you'll see that Domskee is running my preferred team, and I believe that the access to items and deadlies that you get with that team composition and the access to extra speedy advantages brings a lot of comfort, but you still need to find the items to make it viable.
Yeah, to unlock the ancient cave, you either need to finish the game twice, or on speedrun.com, let me get you the link, there is a guide to finish the game in, what is the record, 43 seconds, 47 seconds, something like that? I mean, even I
input by memory.
Even I can't even count to 3 or 4. Even I can finish it in 60 seconds. So
yep. It's you can follow it very slowly. It doesn't need to be done quickly. The process is simply just kind of bugging the game out a little bit by overflowing some data with some menu prompts and specific steps, but doing that will basically allow you to trigger the end of the game event, and that'll basically take you to the credits and count the game as being finished. And you do that a couple of times, and bing bang boom, you got yourself the gift mode %, where you can go and play the ancient cave at will, and that is how we run and track these runs.
Yeah, if we ever have to do a fresh wipe, we basically have a new file set up within 3 minutes. I mean, it's so easy. And if you ever want to do a really short speed run while you're waiting for cutscenes in Final Fantasy X, for example, you can run this category like 4 or 5 times before you have to return to your Final Fantasy X. So it's something to look into. So the pastebin link, check that out. Everybody can run that. And if you can't, hit me up and I'll make sure that you that you got it. Don't worry. All right, so let's go back to the run. RealCritical is fighting with these green golems again. So there were some incentives there. Most likely he is looking for... let me check. Yeah, the fruit from battle. Did you do the torrent one yet? He did do the torrent one already, so he's looking for fruits.
if you were watching a screen there, you've noted that there are enemies that can teleport around. And they can and mostly will be some of the most dangerous enemy sprites that you will encounter in the cave. Later on, in the very later floors, the teleporting enemies there can completely decimate your team if they catch you off guard. And you noticed that RC was able to be walking across the teleporter, teleported in, and had a 50-50 chance of surprise attacking him there. Had it been a more dangerous enemy and had that surprise attack occurred, it could have spelt doom. So being aware of those enemy movements. Ooh, and this, what we see on RC screen and on Rocket's screen, are what we like to call party rooms. It is where the chests of the floor, a majority of them, and the enemy sprites have been shoved into one small and or large room, and it can get quite tricky, as then your knowledge of every enemy sprite's movements matters.
Yeah, it depends a little bit on which floors you're at, because some floors have way more dangerous enemies than other floors do. Even
Yes,
some earlier floors are extremely dangerous, and the one that RealCritical is on right now is not a good one to have a treasure room at. Especially the bees are just very, very scary. These suits of armors that he's fighting right now, they are really tanky, but he thankfully has an ice spell, which is their weakness, so he can just kill them in one spell, basically. There's the blizzard if you didn't have that ice spell. These salamander type monsters, you don't want to fight those either. It's just a really bad room, but it should be fine if the bee moves out of the way. Yeah, the bees move basically in pattern, where they first take no steps, then they take 1 step, 2 steps, 1 step, and then no steps again. And especially the 2-step is really dangerous, because you could just move up and left to where you are and just you know, hit you from across the room seemingly. And which way they actually move is completely random as far as I know. Which will probably mean that somebody in chat will correct me now, but you know.
Yeah, these blue sort of dragon enemies that you see Rocket engaging drop one of the most sought after items that you can get from enemy drops in the cave, and that would be the Twist Jewel, because it is a jewel item, so it is equipped on that accessory slot that also provides agility. So it is a very important and lucky find if you can get one.
Yeah, like DC said, they give a ton of agility, and especially around these floors, it's such a big pickup. And I think there's did it not count? Yeah, it should have counted for the earn a jewel from a battle, which Rocket might not. Did Rocket drop one?
I've been occasionally looking over, in the times that I've seen them ending a fight with Prince Lizards, I have not seen a drop.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you said earlier that Rocket did drop one. My bad. But yeah, Rocket is really, really trying to what is the drop rate? It's like 15% or something. Yeah,
15.
So Rocket will go out of the way to kill every single Prince Lizard that they can find, and hopefully drop the Twist Jewel, because it's just such a it is really a big pickup. I think it's actually still quite underrated to compared to how good it can be.
Yeah, and you know, to note the types of spells, the names are unique, but Strong, Stronger, Champion, and Valor are the main healing spells, and they are in that same order of importance and power. There is Rally that falls kind of in the middle there. Rally is the first low-level healing spell that allows you to revive dead characters. Valor being the best healing spell, It's expensive, but it will revive characters and fully heal them to maximum HP. And if everybody's up, you can basically full heal your party with a full party targeting, at least before you get to around the 500 mark of the HP.
Yeah, and there are different items that can restore your magic points, obviously. You got the high magic, the X magic, but you also got the absorb spell, and there are a couple of armors that, and with IP attacks that can give you magic. And there are miracles, which is basically the elixir for Final Fantasy. You know,
Yep.
full heal, full magic restore, and it will revive. So miracles, just stocking up on them, and so you can use them later on when you're in danger, or if you can restore a lot of magic from it when you got your healing spell sorted out. It's just a great item to hold on to. These iron golems aren't. Well, I mean, they are dangerous, but they're not that dangerous compared to some of the other monsters that you got there, but RocketP4nts, man. And just to get by them. RealCritical might want to kill those chickens for the fruit drop.
He definitely wants to avoid these tentacles, though. So he's gonna try and dance this chicken out of there and avoid the tentacles, as the Ammonites are one of the early enemies that can really punish your early leveled party with some party-wide attacks.
Yeah, he might be just trying to avoid danger, indeed. Because he had the Providence out earlier, he might not be going for an relatively low drop rate. And just try to get deeper and pick up more points there.
XZS, nope, it doesn't matter. Just start up, follow the guide, and you should be able to produce the magic that is ending the game quickly, and you'll be in the cave before you know it. One of us.
Oh, these necromancers or whatever they're called.
Yep.
Oh, that last
Necros.
parish can't hit. 25%.
Yep.
No!
That's our second official wipe.
That is such a shame. Yeah, these
The advantage here being that now Rocket does have the ability once again to encounter some red mimics without surprise attacking them and getting that point if they haven't already. I know that RC achieved the killing of red mimics, so I'm not sure if they have taken that point already.
RC didn't click it. But both of them need to kill the mimic without getting a surprise attack on them and finish the battle. So it doesn't matter how many red mimics there are, it could be 1 or it could be 4, it really doesn't matter. Or anything in between. But they both need to kill those mimics without getting a surprise attack.
Yeah, and I do believe that RC did achieve that goal on his side before he providenced. And now Rocket does have the opportunity, if they get enough equipment and get enough gear, to perform the other half of that duo goal when it comes to the floor 1 through 10 incentives.
Yeah, we probably want to make a note about that one. And if Rocket actually does end up killing mimics, that we ask RC about it. Because, I mean, there are a lot of goals that you need to pay attention to, and RC might have, or RealCritical I should say, might have just missed that goal, or accidentally finished it, basically.
The man himself, the
In the
genius.
chat. It would be a shame for people to miss out on points or realize later.
I think what did happen was he jumped them, worked them down to 1, and then engaged them without surprise attacks. So a very thoughtful strategy, which is to get the surprise attacks. An interesting part of this game is that every sprite remembers what enemies were within it. So you can engage a battle, kill off 2 of the 3 enemies, run away, and then re-engage, and then you will only see the 1 enemy you left. And so that is a strategy that some people can implement here for those types of engagement incentives.
Domskee has all the teleporters on top of him right now, so they are doing the conga or something, which is very nice.
And just a quick note to all you runners or people who are deciding to run this for the first time. A nice habit to form: every time you step onto a set of stairs, hold the R button and hold up. You won't regret it.
Yes, I agree. As somebody that got ambushed by 2 sets of orkies, the people that run this game, they will know.
Yep, so the whole point behind this is that every time you enter a set of stairs and you spawn into a new floor, every enemy sprite is automatically set to be looking down. So they will be looking from the north to the south. So if your sprite is facing any direction other than up, you either have a 50-50 or a 100% chance to be surprise attacked by an enemy if they immediately are spawned next to the stairs. So we can easily bypass that issue simply by holding R, which locks the character in place, and holding up. And as the transition to the next floor occurs, those actions and inputs take precedence over the engaging of a battle. So your character sprite will rotate and look up and engage the enemy sprite without getting surprise attacked. So it is one of the easiest things to implement into your runs that can completely save a doomed run when something like that occurs.
Yeah, question in the chat: the blue chest, are those better than the red chest? Well, they can
Typically.
be. They can be, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they're useless, but they can be better.
Yes, there's a lot of so red chest items are not permanent. They will not stay with you upon exiting the cave with a providence. The only ones being iris items, which don't apply to any equipment. They're only for a subquest like we spoke of earlier. Blue chest items, however, are typically very strong, very powerful, high stat items that do carry out with you if you providence. And like we were speaking about earlier, one of the casual strategies is to go into the cave, find as many blue chest items as you can, providence out by around floor 25 to 30, continue this process until you can essentially equip your entire party with blue chest items from level 1 in floor 1 and just wreck the cave. But in this instance, we aren't going to be... I mean, in this tournament, providence is a factor, so it does come into play, but typically a run you will not see any sort of providencing, so any blue chest items you find along the way is what you're going to get. There are a lot of blue chest items that only apply to certain characters, such as the females, or particularly to, I think there's a couple of items that only Artie and Lexus can use, or only Guy and Decker can use, so
yeah.
There is quite an array of unique items that are locked to very specific party members. So it does have a wide array of powerful, yet potentially not helpful at all.
So both teams are at 13 points each now, which is very interesting. So we could go over the... So let's take a look at RocketP4nts. RocketP4nts is back to the start, right? what are points that they could get right now? They could still go for Wispies. Defeating a group of Wispies would be really solid. Not extremely dangerous enemies, but you kind of want at least one strong weapon or a spell for them. So that's definitely a thing that they could still do. Earning a fruit, but I don't like going for a fruit unless it just happens because of the low drop rate. So you can hover over if you got the tracker open, you can hover over the objective and then hover over the question mark. So you can tell that most drop rates are like 10, 5 or 15%. It's not great. Other than that, I would say you kind of need to get lucky for on top have 4 characters in the battle screen display full HP, MP and IP bar. So that basically means that you need to give Decker magic. So there's one item that can increase your total maximum of or your maximum of MP. Well, as you can tell, Decker doesn't have any MP at the moment, so you need to give him a spell potion and then restore his magic somehow, and then that is an objective you could go for. Another one is...
We did just see on Domskee's screen the other major blockade in the run in the form of ninjas. If you do not, they're really fast. They move 2 steps for every step that you move. They home in on you very quickly. And if you do not get a surprise attack on that type of enemy, they have a party-wide attack called Knife Thrower that is just very, very powerful for the time in the cave that you are reaching. Essentially, the way it seems is that blue mimics and ninjas are essentially the blue chest item checks, quote unquote, to see how well prepared you are for the cave. And since we aren't running it casually and collecting and gathering as many blue chests as possible, we have come up with strategies to at least make them survivable and or as safe as possible. But they can definitely and often wipe runs with the flash of a few daggers.
But Domskee is now around the floors where RocketP4nts was like 10 minutes ago or something, with the Brains Lizards. So that really shows like how far ahead Rocket was on the rest. But and it seemed like such a good run too, good setup, good levels and everything, but it's just so easy to die in a cave.
Packing
There's so
boomer
many
and a
enemies
big boomer for this wispy encounter. Perfect.
Had a Decker blade earlier, but yeah, they lost that one.
Blade has since disappeared. Yep. Yeah, Super Sword is one of the few female-only items that is really accessible as a finishing weapon. Not typically the type of strategy you want to go for, but if that's the strategy you've got, then you build around it. That's another unique aspect of getting to the bottom and fighting the jelly, is taking stock of what items you have at your disposal and then having to make a decision on how to make them work. Typically, you're using early attacks that have fractional abilities, such as the Decker Blade that does 50% of an enemy's HP in damage. And then you have some other items that do 1/6, 1/4, 1/8, and these are typically the backup items that you're going to want to use. And then on the final turn, you want to use items like the Super Sword and others that have ×3 IP attacks that perform strong physical finishing blows. Typically you'll see those types of items and or something like a Hydora rock or a Cancer rock that allows people to attack multiple times in one turn.
Ooh, Domskee is at my favorite, enemy. So the left guy, the armor date, he just wants to kill you, but the right one is the evil one. That's called a siren.
Siren.
It's a siren, but it's another mistranslation.
Yeah, Siren.
However you pronounce it, I don't know. It's not English. Yeah, that's Siren. So Domskee tried to do something there. That was actually funny. The
Ooh.
Siren.
Domskee has a spell potion for Decker.
For Decker,
I'm
yeah.
not sure he may or may not realize at this point. Is there a specific floor that needs to be applied to?
Well, at any floor you can still get IP, I would say. So, but just anywhere. But yeah, the Siren tries to roll back to that. The Siren tries to inflict status effects on you. So as you could see, the question marks that they have floating above their heads, that's confusion. So it confused Artie and I think it was Maxim or whoever it was. It doesn't matter. But Artie actually hit his confused deadly on the Siren, and that's why Domskee didn't. No, he did get a point. Never mind, he did get a point. The point is to have 2 people inflicted with a status. So he did get the point. Last year it was 3 characters, or all 4 characters, I believe. So he did get the point. So Domskee was happy that he didn't wipe there, because
yeah,
if these Sirens, they can. I mean, there are highlights out there where runner just gets stun locked for 6, 7, 8 minutes, and I'm not even, joking or anything. They are extremely brutal.
You'll see Domskee dancing around this Hydra sprite. These Cyclops and Hydra sprites are sort of extremely important, as once you understand their movement patterns, you can typically always get a surprise attack on them, and it's going to be very important for finding some Hydora rock drops from some of the Hydra sprites, as well as avoiding death from these Cyclops sprites later on, and kind of manipulating them into a way that you are in control of the situation.
But Domskee is also using Destroy along with the deadly Fatal Pick that he has equipped, Deadly Roto Fatal Pick. The Destroy will, it can be casted in AoE. Typically you don't want to do that, or onto multiple enemies. Typically you don't want to do that. Because it only has a 50% chance to hit, and if you would, cast it on multiple people, then the chance gets even lower, obviously. So typically I use my Destroy on a priority target, and these Cyclops are somewhat of a priority target, as in they are very tanky and they deal a bunch of damage. And,
yeah,
the quickest way to dispose of them is just by using deadlies. So.
Hey, there's that teleport surprise attack I was telling you about earlier.
Yep.
But yeah, you'll start running into enemies in these later floors that have such large HP pools that the only realistic way to really approach an encounter with them is to be able to kill them instantly. Some of those high HP pool enemies are also the enemies that can wipe out your party in 1 or 2 turns maximum, or minimum, and they will destroy a run instantaneously if you are not able to instantly get them out of the battle. a major
No
road.
Name spotted a bunch of assassins just now, but he noped out of that floor, and to be honest, I don't blame him.
Yeah,
Is
one of the big roadblocks later on that is a high HP pool enemy and can wipe your party is going to be Archfiends. And a big problem with the Archfiends is that they have a sprite that does not allow for surprise attacks. So they are a very dangerous enemy later on in the cave. They're too wide sprite, so they take up a lot of room. Once they see you within a certain distance, they will hunt you down relentlessly. And not having the ability to be in control of surprise attacking them creates very no-win situations.
No core for Domskee, so that's the core, or the metal slime from Dragon Quest. I read in chat earlier. Those are the ones that you really want. No cores give a ton of experience. As you can see, every character got like 3, 4, 5 levels just from that encounter alone. So if possible, you definitely want to encounter one of or two of those. It's also the last one you will encounter in the cave. So if you don't get any between 58 and 60, you're gonna have to farm experience from normal enemies, and there aren't that many enemies left that will give you a good amount of experience and won't just outright kill you. So
yeah,
or
and you
eat up a
actually
bunch of
mentioned
time.
something there just now, Mitchie, that I don't know that we've perfectly gone over. 58 to 60 was the range that you would start to see no cores.
Yeah.
That is how a lot of these enemy sprites work. Between about 2 to 3 floors is different ranges of when certain sprites and certain enemies will start appearing. So we do have a very tight knowledge of which floors have the potential to spawn which types of enemies and when those enemies will no longer spawn. So there are windows and opportunities within floors that you must act, or you're going to completely miss out permanently on those types of items or experiences. So 58 and 60, or 58 through 60 are extremely important because those are the final cores that you are going to be able to encounter for the remainder of the cave. And those final 39 floors, it's on you and the enemies that are present. So it definitely is difficult if you reach beyond that floor 60 mark and you haven't really hit your like level 28, 29, 30 range based on cores and other fights. So do keep in mind that it can be quite dangerous, but like we stated earlier, if you can get a surprise attack and you have deadlies, you can find a few enemy sprites that will provide you some extra XP. Yeah,
Look at that.
That room.
Hey, here are all the cores that you will ever need in any run ever, but you gotta actually get there. So good luck, dude. That's literally what this room is telling him right now. So, but yeah, these cores, I don't think we mentioned it yet. These cores have a 75% chance to run away and a 25% chance to attack you with, and it depends on which enemy it is specifically, with what kind of attack they will attack you. So there are 4 different ones. There are the red cores, they give the least but they show up the first. Then you got the blue core, the green core, and the no core. So the no core is like the completely grey out one. And in that order they also give experience. So at this point they really don't want to see any red cores anymore. And preferably only the green and the grey ones. Oh, there's some knife throwers.
See a knife thrower,
Yeah.
You get to see how powerful that ability really is.
Like, Decker can live through a few of those, but another problem with these guys is that they have an instant death ability, and Decker can't survive any of those.
Yep, the worst case scenario, you get knife thrower and everybody else but Decker dies, and then you've got 2 or 3 ninjas still remaining after that, and then they just instant kill Decker before he gets the chance to run away and end a run very quickly.
Ooh, Rocket got the charm fruit.
And then
Man,
has
these-
to face down some ammonites.
These points, they are neck and neck. Yeah, these ammonites are not enemies you wish to see.
And you'll notice that a lot of these sprites can be cruel in their placement, as Rocket is now essentially locked into dealing with them because they are stuck in the doorway. And so it has now become less of an option and more of an obstacle.
Lexus doesn't have enough for Firebird. That's a shame. But
Meow!
meow, there we go. Gotta represent my own emotes here. I'm sorry. You can unlock it for like 10 channel points on my channel, so you know.
Going
It's free.
now.
It's basically free. Go for it. I don't even know how channel points work anymore these days. I mean, Twitch is evolving too fast for my old brain. So you know, I don't know if you get any channel points if I'm offline, or I don't even know if you get any for following. I don't know how any of it works. But yeah, it's a fun little inside joke in the Ancient Cave community.
Meow is not available, Mitchie.
Oh, dang. Well, RealCritical is fighting some Prince Lizards. Young Michi with a whole brain. I still got the hashtag sellout. Now, for real though, don't follow me. Don't follow Michi, but make sure to follow everyone else that's on the screen right now. Follow RealCritical, RocketP4nts, Domskee, and HabKeineName. They are all online.
Absolutely.
Follow the Ellison.
But
Follow DC Boy.
yeah, I'm not very present right now, y'all. But what I will say,
He's
if
doing
you
like
can
once
find-
a year.
yeah, if you can find the relic and the magnificence that is our dear Mitchie's dance pad % run, you're in for the treat of your life. It is by far the favorite experience of caving I've ever watched, ever will watch, and have ever experienced. I got to watch a man dance pad % his heart out to the bottom of the cave and defeat the jelly.
Yeah, it was truly the best and the worst thing I've ever done. The worst because it was decided, hey, you know what? Let's actually do dance pad. Why not?
DDAC.
And after seeing, is the stream down or is that on my end?
We do have a slight technical difficulty here.
Oh no.
But while we have this small moment, let's take a look at the incentives and the scorecards and the rules here. As a lot of these players are just on a party member. But Rocket, right before we kind of lost stream for a moment there, that was the play, was to use Mind Gourds and Shield to boost magic defense power to a certain point.
We're somewhat back now.
We're in a strange place.
Yeah, we are in Lag Town.
I guess let's go ahead and do a quick reload.
Blame the host.
Yep, reload. Reload did the trick. Now we're all
Yeah, and reload everybody if you're
we're all online now.
But nobody wants to know about dance pad % anyway. It's an awful thing. Don't worry about it.
Fantastic. Watch it and get some popcorn because you're going to be on the edge of your seat the entire time as one man attempts to destroy the cave with his body.
Yeah, that is one way you could describe it. Alright, let's go back to the run because I don't want to talk about myself. That's awkward. That's
Well,
why
you know what?
selling out
Here,
is so much fun.
just to make it even, I'll talk about myself for a moment. I'm the guy who came in, got a 32-minute PB off of my personal best, and called it quits. So that's my lore. I got an incredible run, thanks to Rocket and Mitchie for basically being my backup in chat and helping me achieve that goal. But man, once I got that big 32-minute PB difference, I decided to put up the controller for a little bit and just enjoy watching others play. One day I
Domskee,
will.
sorry to interrupt. Domskee is in a bad place right now. I mean,
Oh,
these
yeah.
salamanders are brutal. They've ended many runs and even my own tournament aspirations multiple times. But he actually got through, which is amazing. So I believe it was a Firebird and Sizzle Breath, or maybe an Attack and Sizzle Breath. I'm not entirely sure because I was having some lags.
But gets rewarded for all the chaos that they had to go through.
Ugh.
A nice beastie Decker blade.
Yeah, these guys are not fun. And there's the Decker blade. I need to refresh because I'm miles behind. These eyeballs are
No,
also.
I'm just a psychic. Don't worry.
Or that, you know. These eyeballs are also very dangerous. They attack twice. They're quite tanky. They're fast. Their movement is annoying. That's basically the story with every monster they're gonna encounter
I was gonna
from
say,
now.
yeah. Anything post floor 55 and on, it's roughly for every every 2 enemy sprites is basically a lethal encounter if approached incorrectly. So it becomes very important to pick your battles, find your openings for surprise attacks, or you're going to potentially be punished heavily for so.
So when looking at the tracker now, right? What could Domskee do? So at these floors he's on right now, he needs to encounter Sphinx and inflict a status ailment on it. I don't know if he has the deflect spell or a freeze ball. Inflict a poison is actually really difficult. I think you can only do that with Darby.
Yep, second form Darby can definitely do that, but I'm not sure if there's any other form.
I can't think of any other way you could inflict poison. So, freeze ball. Freeze ball and deflect are the two options that you have. But first you need to actually encounter Sphinx, so everybody keep an eye out for a lion sprite. These white dragons aren't fun. They are very, very, very dangerous.
If you can't get them killed, this could... we get the stronger trigger on one because it hit an HP threshold. But we didn't get to see Coldstream, thankfully.
Yeah, you really don't want to see Coldstream because everything else, just like everything else in this game at the moment, it would just, barely, almost one-shot your entire team. Only Decker can really live through it. Just cast a poison spell. Yeah, the poison spell is like an antidote. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Mike knew. He's just trolling.
A lot of the names, like we said, not only is the translation kind of funny, but some of the titles of the spells and equipment are a little bit more suggestive towards what they don't do.
Oh yeah, Domskee definitely played that correctly by actually splitting the attacks between the dragons and hitting the HP threshold.
And the way that he moved through that hallway, considering these are floors where eyes can spawn, making sort of herky-jerky movements like that through the hallway was extremely important. If an off-screen... Oh no. The surprise attack, the 10-leggers. Decker's still up and probably going to be able to make it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only two of them.
That's that can be frightening when 4 of them come at you.
Yeah. And he actually got somewhat lucky escaping there. I think.
Yeah, because
I've
escaping in
definitely
this
seen
game-
them get more attacks in
yep,
after
yep.
you try to run away.
Escaping in this game is basically the enemy party's agility average versus the high and low average of your party, which typically means that it's going off of Artie and Decker's agility and then determining whether or not the party is going to get to go first.
Some good movement with the gold Gorons though. Just a shame he walked into the octopus earlier.
And that's a huge part of this. Managing one enemy's movements can sometimes lead to you not managing. Oh, put himself.
Oh, that's not what you want to do.
Yep, this
Yep.
is dangerous.
Uh-oh.
He's gonna have to go for the 50-50 here.
Yeah.
Didn't get it, but he was fast enough, so thankfully didn't have to go through the golden showers.
Yeah, the ability is called Golden Mist, by the way.
Oh, so this is another thing. Memes and things of that nature start to sort of set in. But believe me,
I'm
it's the
glad
real
you're
truth.
making that. I don't want to call it a mistake, but I'm glad you're calling it the earlier mentioned thing. But this is a PG-13 channel, I'm pretty sure. So you know, that's like my biggest scare when doing commentary, to actually
Yeah, I didn't curse.
throw some curse words.
Nah, it's not a curse. I use real language words, real English language words. Just when you put them in that order, it becomes something a little bit different.
Nobody has ever heard of a golden mist before, though, you know. Right, back to the game. So there's the hallway for Domskee was kind of blocked there with a few enemies stacked on top of each other. He probably wants to pull the gold Gorm out and then hope that the dragon will just follow suit. Yeah, dragons kind of do whatever they like. They will take a step every 3 steps that you take. And these gold Gorons will basically walk in circles and then charge at you. So pulling the gold Gorm out first and then trying to manipulate the dragon to the right. It can take anywhere from 5 seconds to 5 minutes. And especially on the later floors, you will see a lot more dragons with this exact movement pattern. And if they're stuck in the hallway like this, it will just eat through your time. And, it's especially problematic when you're on PB pace or personal best pace. And there's just nothing you can do. He actually opts to kill them, which I agree with.
I mean, if you have deadlies and you have access to destroy and other things of that nature, it's extremely important to get that surprise attack and potentially gain a lot of time back by being able to finish off the fight. There's a lot of risk and reward when it comes to moving quickly in the cave, especially when you get choke point hallways like Domskee had.
Yeah, and if you have a couple of they're weak to fire elemental. So if you got the Firebird spell, or if you got a weapon like Red Saber, or Decker Blade for RocketP4nts again. So that's interesting.
Hey, here's the Sphinxes. What has he got in his pocket to
freeze bow or deflect?
Ooh,
is what
deflect.
we're looking at.
We got deflect coming out.
Very nice.
Perfect. Some points on the board.
Yeah, Rocket still has a ways to go for sure. I believe in ooh, there's the deadly rod, or a second one. Who knows? I don't know. It's kind of difficult to keep track of the inventories of 4 people at the same time. I mean, I struggle keeping track of my own inventory whenever I'm running, so you know.
Exactly. I'm gonna say keeping track of my own is hard enough.
Yeah. So RealCritical's at 57. He's definitely still on pace to get to the jelly.
Yeah,
especially
a lot of
somebody at his skill level.
caliber. Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of these players are definitely still well within range. I don't think that we can see any sort of wipes from Dom or Hob. Actually, any players at this point, if they do wish to get to the jelly on this run. So they'll probably start using a little less risky strats and probably trying to apply just some tried and true abilities to get them to the bottom now.
Yeah, Dom is taking some risks now, but he probably wants to stay ahead on, ahead of the curve. So basically, when I do these kind of runs, when I have a deadline of 2 hours, I basically set a goal for myself, which is there are 99 floors and 2 hours. So you keep some time left over, right? If you would aim for 1 minute for each floor, then you have some time left over. So especially in a run like this, where you have goals to or objectives to meet, some floors will take longer than the 1 minute. So I don't know if any of these runners they're running right now have goals in mind like that. But I always aim for like 1 minute a floor if I can. But definitely towards the end, it will get harder and harder because, you might lack, for example, a deadly weapon or some healing, and just looking for these. Ooh, Domskee. That was almost a leech. Looking for those few items that you still need, or these few extra objectives that you might want, that can really eat through your time. There's a boat. Yep, get surprise attacked by a ghost ship. So oh, he doesn't go for it. That is interesting. I would have gone for it. It's one of these objectives that both people need to meet. But he could have at least have taken a look at it. So basically, the ghost ship sprite is kind of a little bit weird because it doesn't move, and
has to be on floor 71 to get the point.
Oh, my bad. Okay, he was on the wrong floor. That's
but we've got the Orky encounter. This enemy right here, that wild pile of heads, is super dangerous, super tanky, and has a lot of killing the party ability. But one of our wonderful incentives this year is to survive an encounter after being attacked by the Orky, and you're going to see 8 attacks in a row here.
Yeah, to get back to the ghost ship, he didn't check it because it was on the wrong floor. You can only get that one on floor 71. I read in chat. So that is. Oh well, you can get it on other floors, but only the point on floor 71. So that was my bad.
Well, you remembered the incentive. The floor was
that is
slight oversight. You're good.
Impressive. Survive one round of combat that includes at least one Orky. Is this? Yeah, exactly. If there were 2 Orkies, I would be sweating for sure. If you opt to flee the combat, all enemies must act before your flee occurs. Okay, there he goes. He got rid of the current. Now you can get that point. This eats through your healing capabilities, though. You know, he has to revive other characters, and depending on if he has a revive spell or not, he might need to. Yeah, he has revive spells. Then it's not that expensive, but otherwise you eat through your revive items, and it's definitely not something you want to do. Which floor is he on right now? Did somebody keep track? But yeah, as you can see, these ships don't move, and you can actually back attack them or get back attacked by them. And unlike the blue mimics that we saw way earlier in the run, you can't actually back attack those, and they don't move either. So ghost ships are a bit weird. And yeah, a ship in a cave.
Yeah,
So-
and the one thing that ghost ships can do is summon extra enemies to help fight for them. Otherwise, they're pretty useless and they don't do jack squat. So, finding an encounter with 2 ghost ships is pretty much the premium option for getting surprise attacked.
Oh no, name. That's a lot of sirens.
There's a lot of do-da-da and some do-re-mis coming in hot. Wow, rare to see the attack.
The attack and the absorb. That is, yeah. You very rarely see an attack, and that makes them so incredibly cruel. They will just cast their status effects on you and just leave you there. Unless they bring one of those armor dates, of course. Then the armor dates would just maul straight through you. But that is, wow, that was weird. Usually they would just sleep or confuse your entire party, and then it's somewhat over somewhat fast.
We're seeing over on Domskee's screen now the sort of final form of the Cyclops sprites in the form of the elemental genies. Every genie but the well genie is typically pretty dangerous. So well genie and earth genie being sort of the lower danger scales, although earth genies do have an ability that's very powerful. They often tend to absorb and defend. The flame genies and the wind genies, however, can be quite dangerous, particularly the wind genies because of how fast they are and the very powerful voltage bolt ability that they can attack the party with.
Oh, RealCritical was using the rare Stun Shocker from Lexus.
So again, this is one of those examples of Lexus having access to an ability through a weapon that only he can equip that is very unique and very useful for this type of game set where you need to inflict status effects. Having access to the stun gun, stun shocker ability allows him to use his IP rather than an item or MP. To get that stun effect off. Very useful there.
That was some next level play. I never even thought of using Lexus for of using Lexus for that reason.
And that's a huge thing that comes with getting more experienced with the cave and the item sets. Is that there's it's a huge thing to have multiple items and understand what they do, because there's many items whose IP abilities can turn around a run when you're in a dangerous situation. If you don't have healing spells, there are armors that can revive. There are certain abilities attached to weapons and armor that can really save you at clutch moments. So understanding what every item can do is very important to kind of mastering these runs.
So many teleporting leeches. Not a lich, a leech on RealCritical's previous room. That was actually quite scary.
Yeah, we're seeing some really good pacing from RC to get to the lower parts of the cave after providencing, and I believe he only providenced, or has he wiped again since?
RC Providence once.
Okay. So yeah, he's definitely down at 71 with 28 minutes on the board. He's got enough time to navigate these later floors, and it looks like he might have an opportunity here to get a surprise attack from a boat.
The
Now, if you-
boat.
Yep. Calling companions.
It's my favorite enemy. Ooh, there's the surprise attack. I believe they're called Nosferatu. The guy that's with him. It's not that dangerous. So this is actually a really good encounter to get the surprise attack from.
And what Eli just said there, I am the first player to get a jelly kill and officially get it recorded with custom names. So thanks to finding that sort of little exploiter glitch and allowing me to live out my fantasies of taking my favorite AC members along with me to the bottom of the cave through the insanity. So I think it's a must. Some people think it's a waste of time.
It's so fun, right? Like speedrunning in general. I had a talk about it like yesterday or day before, whatever, with some people that you know, a game is 10, 20, 30 years old in this case, and we still figure out new little tricks and glitches and things in quirks in games. And I mean, how many people really knew that you could rename every character? Not many, I imagine.
I'd imagine.
A handful, maybe, yeah.
And those people, out of that handful of people in the world, you know, there was one or two within the Discord that actually knew about it and thought that everybody else had the same knowledge. And once it was brought up, it kind of changed a lot of perspectives. At least it changed mine heavily. I truly enjoy being able to sort of engage and kind of meme out the run as much as possible. I.e., one of the incentives this year, which is to get full MP and HP in your status menu. But one of the things is that Guy and Decker don't have MP. They're not magic users. So you have to, what I like to call, teach them to read by giving them a spell potion and allowing them to have an MP bar. It's absolutely useless other than looking cool and making you feel even better.
Yeah, it's not like Decker and Guy can learn any spells anyway, you know, but at least they have an MP bar. Yeah, these double Archfiends on Domskee's screen,
that's a lethal encounter.
He has the levels, but 4 Thunders is death. So
yep.
I mean, also like 3 Thunders and 1 what's it called, the other attack, or even some combination with Destroy. This could wipe him easily.
Yeah, and one thing to note about these late encounters. Yeah, the thing that's going to kill you is the powerful spells. Now, spells are usually, you know, targeting a single party member or the entire party, and that damage is spread out evenly. But as the party targets lower, the damage gets raised. So if Tia goes down to this Thunder, then the next Thunder is going to be even more powerful. So as people go down, the likelihood of death gets higher.
Yeah, this could be it.
That's it right there. That Gloomy is gonna take him out.
That's
gonna be a no jelly for Domskee this run. But depending on what incentives they haven't achieved in the early floors, they could still make it as far as floor 40, 50 if they pace themselves well, and still achieve some of those goals to pick up some extra points for their team. So definitely not out of the game, just going to have to change their approach and game plan and strategy here.
Yeah, the only way to manipulate the game, it's really complex, so I'll give you like the easy explanation. I only know the manipulation in the main game. I don't know it in the Ancient Cave, but in the main game is a combination between time, so the time that you spend in a town, for example, matters, because if other NPCs will move, then it advances RNG. Your own movement, and that also influences enemy movement, obviously. Even the time that you spend in the intro screen, and whether you, when you exit a town, whether you hold down the up button or you release it and click the up button later. At what points you open the item menu. So there's a lot of different things that impact RNG. So in this category, that you could say category, but basically in the run that they are playing right now, nobody knows what will show up.
And just to add on to what you were asking there, this name is banned. The enemy actions, are specifically tied to those types of enemies, the types of actions they can do, but the movements in the map is dependent on the player character. So whatever the player does with their sprite is kind of how the sprites are going to react based on their movement patterns that they have assigned to them. So each sprite has their own individual movement patterns. So once you kind of understand what sprites on what floors and how and how they're supposed to be moving, you can kind of use that knowledge to move them around in such a way that you are able to navigate it safely. So you will see the players utilizing their position and their own movements to potentially set up a way to get through safely.
Yeah, one especially on RealCritical's getting like around those floors where you will see he will probably try to move monsters that are 2 squares wide to pull those around the bush, so he can get them stuck behind bushes and then get around the other way. So when it shows up, I will make sure to shout it out. It's very interesting, the movement tech that they can actually do. In HabKeineName's case right now, No Name's case, this Orky on every third step will just walk in a random direction. So there's really nothing he can do except being in the right spot at the right time, so he can get a back attack like right now. So the Orky, or the Hedora, my bad, the Hedora Hydra, it walked into the wall, so he could take if that Hedora decides to just keep walking back and forth in that hallway, never give him the opportunity to go for a back attack, then it can take ages. There's a Hedora rock. That is a nice pickup. So across both teammates, hold 2 Hedora rocks as one of the objectives. So he might just go for another one.
And
I don't blame him.
And it's a very powerful accessory dual item that allows you to essentially create a finisher with any character that has it equipped, as you can put the highest attack power item onto that character and have them finish out the jelly fight on turn 3 with a triple attack. So it's a sort of it's a universal finisher item that players can pick up, which is kind of very important.
Yeah, it holds a lot of value for sure. And it increases your agility and your attack power. So even as just a passive item, I like to call it, just a straight up points, 3 points basically. Even then, it's still good, a good pickup. So RealCritical is doing some strategies where he tries to paralyze the ground genie, the rock genie, whatever the thing is called, and then he will kill the fire genie.
Yep, and that's another type of like high-level strat, is knowing which enemies are susceptible to which types of status effects, and utilizing what you have in these later floors. The spell Coma can be extremely helpful, as it has, I believe, a 90% chance to sleep.
Yeah, something like that. When it actually matters, it's like 10%, but that's how RNG works. Oh, he's also using shields and stuff, so that's
getting the ×4 turn buffs on a single target. Yep, got the miss, so confirmed, maxed out on the buffs of that type.
And RocketP4nts had it earlier as well, so that's both of them got those points, which is really nice.
Yep.
Domskee and NoName haven't even looked at that, or maybe they've looked at it, but they hadn't been able to find the right setup yet.
Yeah, at this point, it can be anybody's game, because the pacing that RC and Rocket have, there is potential for Rocket to go ahead and catch up and get down to the jelly. RC looks like he's making a beeline for the jelly to try and secure that floor 99 first visit, and potentially getting those points to push them over that threshold to keep them in this match.
Domskee struggling with some mimics here. These mimics, they are between floor 7 and 9, but they are actually really dangerous for these floors. Because usually you don't have any spells yet, or any strong weapons yet, or whatever. And then, if you have to fight them, like they're stuck in a hallway or in front of a door, or a room like that, one of these monster dens, treasure rooms, monster rooms, whatever you wish to call them. They can easily wipe you, and there was nothing that Domskee couldn't really do about that one.
So we've got floor 79 for RC with just over 15 minutes left. He is going to have to start really cranking through some of these floors if he wants to land on at the jelly. Time is definitely closing in on them for these later floors, where a single Dragon Con or a hallway full of dragons can really slow up your progress.
Yeah, 4-point swing is very likely, especially if RocketP4nts would grab 1 or 2 Hedora rocks right now, for example, and secure another point that way. And especially if RealCritical gets to the jelly.
No.
RocketP4nts died. That's a shame. But
That's
if RealCritical gets to the jelly, so the final boss at floor 99 in time, and he manages to get a kill there and do some extra setup shenanigans, he could definitely get a few more points there.
Well, I think that there are some point incentives still on these lower floors that Rocket can try and pick up in the meantime to grab 1 or 2 points before the end of the timer. So they will be attempting to get what little options they have still left to them.
Yeah, Rocket still needs to kill the Mimic on floor 7 to 9 without getting surprise attack. And no, Rocket can't kill the Wispies anymore. Maybe look for Sour Ciders and Charred Newts, but that's kind of difficult.
Well,
maybe
going for the
Rocket.
Charred Newts right now.
Ooh. Rocket could get lucky with a spell potion for Decker and fill up the IP bar. That's definitely possible. So there are still points. No, 0 MP is empty. So they need to find an item that will actually give them, or that will increase the maximum MP that one Decker has. And it's called the spell potion.
Now you see the strategy for that. If there wasn't an incentive for not switching out Lexus, then Rocket could have walked into town, changed out the party to have 4 members that have MP bars and performed that. But to gain the point for taking Lexus, they must permanently have Lexus in the party.
Yeah. Yeah, RealCritical is going for no MP at these floors between 81 and 90, which is a very interesting strategy. It cost him quite some time though. He's been in this encounter. Oh, this genie is out for blood right now. It's a nice IP farm.
He would have rather seen the absorb on Artie.
Oh yes. Yeah, he has to kill it now. Does he have strong?
He does not.
Oh, that's
Sticky situation. Wants that 0 MP, but really needs to find a way to drain his MP now. But he also doesn't want to die and throw it all away, so.
Oh, No Name ran into leeches. But Nosferatus didn't get an encounter, and the leech played nice by only attacking twice rather than using Ice Valve. If there was a 2 leech encounter, that could have been dangerous.
How the question here is, how does one get rid of 9 MP?
You need to do some math there. That's not easy.
All right, he's got a 6 and a 3 that he's going to be able to throw out in this battle.
Okay, there we go.
Lucky to have the correct spells.
RealCritical will probably not make it to the jelly anymore. In 10 minutes, that's extremely difficult. Like you need perfect stair luck to make that. So.
Still possible though.
It is possible, and
But
if anyone is able to do it, it's definitely RealCritical. But more often than not, yeah, you're not gonna make it anymore. So in my personal best, obviously the last 30 floors take like 10 minutes in total. My first 30 floors take like 25, so you know. My personal best is very fun to run against, because the entire run you're green, and then you know you get to the end and you're deep red. It's just great fun.
Yeah, it's definitely.
He's at 80.
Definitely gonna be tight.
He needs to make one more floor, and then he has the point. But there are Archfiends all over. Does he use the mirror? Providence?
Trying to decide whether or not the opportunity to move forward or to potentially use the rest of his time to go and pick up some early floor incentives. Having to weigh those options right now.
So Dagger's full HP, Maximus full HP.
Ah, this is a dead Artie.
Yeah, that's a shame. It's whatever. He needs to survive one floor. Survive this encounter and go to the next floor. Then he has a point, and that point might actually be really important.
A 2-target thunder is gonna be close. Yep.
That is
So we will likely not see Jelly on this set of groups. So look forward to our next group and seeing if you can catch a visage of the Master Jelly.
The cave won today. Everybody wiped. And I mean, those aren't the those really aren't bad runners or anything. It's just the cave sometimes.
It's definitely not lack of skill. It is how brutal this cave can be at times. It's just an absolute torture. It knows just what it needs to put in front of you to ruin your run. And if you are unprepared for it, it's going to be your end.
And they all had really, really decent setups. It wasn't like anyone was on the level or they struggled with getting health or anything like that. No, they just got unlucky. That's all. The cave won the blood and it got it today. So in the next round, we are likely to see 4 jelly encounters at the same time. That's usually how it goes in these tournaments.
And they'll make it before 1 hour 40 somehow.
Oh yeah.
And there'll be a 2-rounder.
That's that's I mean, I like the RNG, but sometimes it also it hits hard. You have the best run, and then at the end, the game, especially these Archfiends, they just tell you, you're going to die today. There's nothing you can do. So RocketP4nts or CriticalP4nts, they got some points somewhere. I didn't keep quite track of which ones, but we are.
So what it might happen is it might come down to who's reached the lowest floor. And I believe at this point we had 80 for RC. Hob is the next highest or the next deepest, so we're gonna have to keep tabs on Hob's floor, because if it comes down to a tie, that may be the deciding factor who was able to reach the farthest level inside the cave. And with 6 minutes and at, I'm guessing, Blue Dragon floors right now, it is possible for Hob to make a really clean run to 81 and beyond.
Does this work? Yeah. Okay. Winners are determined by adding each teammate's points. Tie breaks determined by most jelly kills, which we will not see in these runs. Lowest time spent on jelly kills, we won't see that. So basically, if you kill the jelly at 1 hour 57 and somebody else kills it at 1 hour 59, then the 157 would go first. The deepest floor reached if no jelly kills at all. So that is the thing we are going to keep track of. And then the time that the deepest floor was reached. Yeah, they if they think of using their Providence, 30 seconds before the end, they decide to use Providence, then they definitely get some points there. And they just got, I think they got a ghost ship points. No, that can't be it. Where did I get the last point? I totally missed it. But they are 1 point ahead again. The German fish team. So RocketP4nts still has 1 point from using Providence. So Providence only shows up on floor 21 and higher, and it should somewhat appear on every floor. After 21, if you haven't picked it up yet. But yeah, sometimes you just skip floors entirely, or sometimes the floor doesn't have a chest, so sometimes you get it a little bit later, but generally you get it around 21, 22, 23. Rocket should be able to get Providence still with 4 minutes remaining. It's definitely possible. Rocket needs some good floors though. But that's
Oh,
only 1
no.
point, and they got another
Hob.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hub got it from using Providence, so that's a 2 point split now.
So there is only a couple of options left to them to potentially tie this up. If Critical Pants can earn 2 more points, they will win on default floors. So it is kind of a race against whatever ability they have.
And that is assuming Domskee doesn't use his Providence.
That's true.
But if the...
And he's got it, so I think that's gonna
Yeah.
gonna lock that up.
I assume No Name is shouting, use that Providence, just about now, so...
Uh-huh.
What's the record for Iris items in a race? Well, people have finished that. It's like a standalone category, and I believe the record is 13 hours something now. A couple of people have beaten it somewhat recently.
As far as if you're asking how many Iris items have been picked up in things like Jelly Jam and our little seasonal events, I think we've seen one player pull, I think 4 Iris items in a particular run, which was pretty bonkers for a 2-hour window.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't give you a good answer.
It's either 3 or 4. I do remember that being a notable one here.
I am trying to...
Oh my gosh. Lily,
Where's the...
that's insane.
They changed the Speedrun.com leaderboard, so now I can't find anything anymore. Okay, there we go. I was stuck in the normal. Oh, it's 10 hours, 27 minutes, and 46 seconds by Death Mask. For all 9 items and killing the jelly. And then delivering it to the town. Placing it on the table, and yeah, that's the entire category. It is definitely possible to get all 9 items in literally 99 floors. The first 99 floors, but usually you have to use Providence.
Yeah,
because they are so extremely rare.
Yeah, the type of dropping in the item pool that occurs with Iris items is that for every Iris item you get, it essentially starts halving all the way down to the last one, the likelihood of finding it. So it's very rare when you get into the 7th, 8th, and 9th Iris item. Well, 7th and 8th. It's pretty low chance to find one.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to get, you know, the first 4, 5, 6 items relatively quick, like within a span of a few hours, and then the last 1 or 2 items just not find them for 10, 20 hours at a time. It's not uncommon at all, and that's that is what makes that category so extremely brutal. But we hit the 2-hour mark. We are going into the positive time now, so this is the end.
GG's, all players. Very exciting runs. No jellies spotted, but still very engaging and very strategic runs that we got to see.
Yeah.
This is just the start. We're gonna get to see more strategy and more RNG coming up very soon with our next round of players.
Very we've seen some solid movement tech, some solid strategies, and then you know, the other side of the coin, the extremely brutal, bloodthirsty cave that just wanted to kill everyone. So actually a very exciting run, even though technically we didn't see the end. very exciting runs, and I want to thank all the runners for joining. And a lot of people are joining the Discord right now. We're being dragged over.
It's over.
So we should do some interviews then, I guess. Congratulations, No Name and
Congrats, y'all.
Domskee, the German fish. And man, you guys were.
Thank you very much.
Set the German fish guys as the name, huh?
Oh,
Nothing you
yeah.
can do wrong. Right, RC.
German fish guys or friends? What was it?
I
forgot.
mean, I got it right.
It's
Or
cool. It's
anyway.
cool.
There's
What
only
a
so
what
much
a
I
run
can fit
though!
in it.
What a run though!
Yeah, so it was very close. GG to the other team.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, GG.
It was fun.
yeah, you guys were neck and neck
Yeah.
for the majority of the run, honestly. But
Yeah,
the
I was
cave,
watching.
the cave won the blood today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like that.
I'm happy though that I last second just found a catfish and one event late got my shaken not stirred point. I literally just saw last 5 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm gonna Providence out to have that point and maybe try to get the 4 indoor Mac buffs in one turn to get that spell and maybe an item. And then I just found a catfish and I was like, yeah, okay, I got 1 more minute. I'm like, whatever, farm some IP, get that catfish IP in.
Yeah, the game wanted to give you that catfish too. Just in the right moment.
Make sure
for
to
us, I
follow
guess we
everyone,
got
by the
lucky.
way. Follow everyone. Follow other runners and follow Eve that made this amazing art for the
Yeah, shout out
so
to
many year in a row. So
Yeah.